excitable, and in fact, it's kind of funny because I ran in this very firehouse and tried to jump on the back of a truck. The truck pulled out, and I fell flat on my face right here where I'm standing. And I learned a very dear lesson the first time I went to a fire.
Well, I've been on a few unusual calls. One in particular was a small child with his hand caught in a gumball machine. We've had incidents where people have been stuck in elevators or even locked in their own bathrooms with the doorknobs coming off.
Well, we've had several unusual calls, like a lit pumpkin on Halloween sitting on top of a car, which we had to respond to that. Another to mention might have been a birdhouse fire on someone's property.
Various equipment is also used in the fire tournaments held every year by the fire departments from all over Long Island. The tournaments allow the fire departments to show off their skills and techniques as firefighters. This is a photo of Huntington tournament team loading their apparatus on a flat car in Huntington Station in the 1800s. This was the only means of getting the equipment to these tournaments, which were held in Riverhead or Southampton. The old hand pump being used in a tournament in the late 1800s with a team of participants pulling on each side. Here we see a team pulling the hand pump down the middle of Main Street on the tournament course around 1890. Back then, the ropes were placed around their neck and chest. This is ex-chief George Lucy, who was a champion in the latter event at Huntington. Off to the right, you'll notice the many records he set. Of course, winning trophies are a big part of the tournaments. Here we see some of the officers and members of the Huntington Fire Department with some of their trophies. Most of these trophies are on display at the meeting room in the Huntington Fire Department on Leverage Place. These are the original trophies, won in tournaments between 1909 and 1920. The trophies have grown in number over the past 150 years. Here are some recent trophies. As we see the men and women of the Green Lawn Fire Department marching proudly, let's not forget how they started out as junior firefighters being trained to become firemen and women waiting to put out that first fire.
My job is like mostly they train us for when we become a fireman, how to use like the trucks and the equipment that they have and the different techniques of saving people and putting out fires.
I'd really like to accomplish to save somebody's life if I could, and just make me feel a lot better, just to know I could do the most I could do.
It's taken a lot of work to put the anniversary parade and fair together. We've been working on this program for almost 3 years now, and there's been thousands of hours put in by many, many members of the fire department.
I want to turn that one around, Steve.
The community, so far, the response has been overwhelming. They're really enthusiastic, just from talking to people on the streets and, you know, them remembering when we used to have a fair and all of that, they're excited about it. It's been, say, 25 years, I guess, since we had our last fair. And just talking to people, they've been saying it's a great idea, it's going to have a good time, and hopefully it'll all come out.
For the last century and a half, the Huntington Fire Department has been a vital part of the Long Island scene. And like the nearly 200 other volunteer departments that serve Nassau and Suffolk counties, it's comprised of men and women in all walks of life. But men and women who share this single common responsibility, the protection of their town against the ravages of fire. You know, nothing short of all-out war can devastate a community the way uncontrolled fire can. And for 150 years, it's been the adopted responsibility of the unselfish volunteers in Huntington to provide the front line of defense for their neighbors and themselves whenever the battle against fire has had to be fought. 150 years. That's quite a legacy.
Some of the community service programs that we get involved in, each year we sponsor a babysitter's course to teach the young teenagers some safety tips and babysitting for other children and home safety tips. We also have a fire prevention program that we have each year at Fire Prevention Week, again, teaching home safety and letting them see the firemen in action. Also, we sponsor school awards for various things, business awards, math awards, in a scholarship form for those students who are, scholastically achieved.
I think what people should have definitely is a smoke detector, maybe one on each floor of their house, and make sure the batteries are working. And you check them 6 months or every year. We advertise our fire prevention show, and we put up on our sign to check your smoke detector battery, and also another tip would be to practice fire drills in the home and just be cautious of mechanical things that might short out or go wrong.
I think the 150th anniversary proves the dedication of the people of the Huntington Fire District. It shows that there's still enough of us here that care about what goes on in our town, and we're willing to sometimes put our lives on the line to protect the life and the property of the people that live in our town.